tell us what they're going forward, and then if we've already got this at least started, then we know that there is an alternative here. And sometimes a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush.
I don't know, I find the approach a little odd that whoever's got the best deal wins. That
No?
I find it difficult to comprehend that concept. Somebody other hand up, Councillor Lando.
Your Worship, thank you. I've heard it expressed from a few different councillors here, and that's we're looking for a win-win. We're trying to get to a win-win situation here. And we're ways off of it, I think, right now. There's obviously some different opinions at the council table, and obviously, like Councillor Nixon said, we don't want to do goose that laid the golden egg, and we need to put some work in to try and find a solution to this. As it's worded, I'm not going to say I have concerns, but I still have questions with the way this. A lot of these motions are worded. So starting in item 3D through to 4, I look at the wording there, and I just the word the mayor uses a tripartite agreement, and I'm trying to figure out how council or the city brings a third party into an agreement without them necessarily being a party to that agreement. It's difficult for me to understand. Item 4.
Mr. Strack, did you have a comment on that?
Your Worship, there isn't the intent of a tri-party agreement. There isn't, that's not within the city's mandate to participate in that type of an agreement. It is agreement for access through a property that would be retained by the city, which is standard practice. It's access to lands beyond that are envisioned in a plan that's already in place. So there's an access corridor to lands beyond. The city simply holds it to ensure that the public has access to that corridor. It's not an agreement between RMR, the city, and the Evans. It is ours. It's the city's statutory right-of-way, and authorities to construct on it will be done through the master development agreement as well as the individual development agreements that are in place. So there's no tri-party component to any of the resolutions here. The final resolution in regards to encouraging the two business parties, these are two private business parties, to continue the discussions, and I certainly see that there's possibly an opportunity for participation from the city in those discussions to help facilitate it or to help to encourage those discussions to take place. But at this point, there's not a recommendation here to have some form of a three-party agreement in any way. It's private business doing private business, and we encourage council to
I was being
keep private
facetious when I
business.
said that.
Well, but I think there's some confusion here, and that's, I
Well,
understand that. And
I've never seen anything like this before, so anyways. I'm not sure if anybody else had their hand up. I guess, just to summarize, I was approached and asked if I would support a tree hotel, and I said that I would. I support the annexation. I still support the tree hotel. I've not changed my level of support. The project has changed, and that's different, and that's why I'm concerned. Is there any more discussion on the motion? Councilor Lando.
I guess on point number 4, Your Worship, that reads that the applicant be encouraged to continue communications and discussions with RMR and be encouraged to continue to pursue opportunity.
Yeah, I realize that, but I guess when I look at, the reason why I'm allowing the conversation is that these are all going to fall into place, and that is a motion that's coming up. So we're only dealing with number 1, but
Yeah, it seemed apparent to me that the discussion was touching on all 4 points here, so that's why
and that's why I allow it, because one's going to fall into the other. So
yeah, Your Worship, with all due respect to staff, and I hear the explanation. I just look at it, and I'm not the lawyer at the table here, but I look at this granting or lifting of the covenant if another party doesn't complete something, and I have trouble with that. I just struggle to understand that.
Councilor Brothers.
And I must confess, when I read that as well, I was uncomfortable with it, but when, overall, because we can go back and take a look at this and see what the wording is, and after heard from our Mark, or anybody else, if we had some time, then I feel more comforted that that's fine, we can go back and correct that. But I too have some concerns about the wording.
I think I look at it as wishful thinking, but anyways, there's a motion that we are approving this application to amend the OCP, and is there any more discussion on this motion? Councillor Souls.
Your Worship, just on point number 1, for clarification, if we put this part through, is this guarantee that the Treehouse Hotel will be able to go forward? And I'm speaking now just about the Tree House.
Mr. Stratton.
Your Worship, there's 3 bylaws that will be created as a result of resolutions 1, 2, and 3. The first one is the bylaw to amend the OCP. This is the approval of the application, so this is approving the application so that staff go away, create the actual bylaw, and bring it back for council's consideration of actual readings. So this is the beginning of the process. The 3 resolutions that are shown here are for that purpose, for us to, if council approves the application to proceed, staff will then go and create the bylaws, bring them back to council for consideration at first and second reading, and scheduling of a public hearing, which would be a minimum of 4 weeks following.
Looking for any more discussion on the motion? Is that your hand up?
Yes, Your Worship. In the staff report, it references that council always has the option to go to a public open house or some sort of public discussion about this. And I'm wondering if at the council table there's desire to proceed to that step prior to going to a public hearing.
Mr. Stratton.
Your Worship, the public consultation plan was not recommended with this particular application, not because it's not a significant application in the community, but the purpose of public consultation plans are to ensure that adjacent property owners or area property owners are engaged in the process. We saw letters from stakeholders beginning as soon as the application arrived, even before it came to council. There's not a lack of engagement where we need to get out and drum up people to be engaged in this process. The groups that are involved in this particular process are fully engaged. An open house was thought to be somewhat unnecessary in this particular case. However, it is recommended the public hearing be held at the community center, be held in the evening, to allow for as many people to participate in that component. And written submissions, of course, will be received all the way through the process.
Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Against?
I'll move G2.
Your Worship, I think,
Sorry?
is it 2?
The application to amend zoning bylaw number 1264 to add comprehensive development zone 18 be approved.
Motion by Councillor Duke, seconded by Councillor Nixon. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor? Against? Me? Item 3.
The application to rezone lot 1, plan 1.
Excuse me, hang on.
Sorry, Your Worship, can you just say carried after it's in the positive?
I don't want to.
That's document.
Motion's carried. There, you feel better?
Agreed. The application to rezone lot 1, plan 11177, Camozzi Road from Columbia Shuswap Regional District, zoning district, rural residential 2, to City of Revelstoke zoning bylaw, zoning district, comprehensive development zone 18 be approved.
Moved by Councillor Duke, seconded by Councillor Nixon. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor? Was that a question?
Yes, it was a question, sorry. Sorry, I lost track there for a second. We are on 3, right?
We're on 3.
3 right now. Sorry. Your Worship, I still have concerns about point E and subsections 1 and 2 there. And I'm in a dilemma here because this wording seems to promote some sort of dialogue, discussion, maybe some people working together, different parties coming to a win-win solution.
say.
What's up?
I'm gonna read in so that we get that to that, so. this-
Okay, sure.
And that the following be included as conditions to be satisfied prior to council considerations of adoption of the rezoning bylaw as seen in the regular council agenda. A through.
That's fine with the seconder?
That's fine with the seconder.
Did you have a comment, Mr. Strachan?
Your supposed to.
Okay. Motions on the floor, any, yes?
Your worship, yeah, that's, my comment, as mentioned before, is item E, points 1 and 2. To me, it's paradoxical in some sense, in that it seems to ask that there be a discussion, these parties get together, we try and come up with a win-win situation, but I just still have some concerns.
Go ahead.
Your worship, I'll try to, I guess, explain how I see it, is we've got a developer, a landowner who's signaled an intent to want to invest in the community and invest in the growth of the resort, whether it's in partnership with the resort or adjacent to the resort. I think it will support the resort. But the resort has indicated that they feel that this development is parasitic and may usurp growth opportunities. And so this landowner has really offered to put a covenant to restrict the developability of his land, to provide RMR with the opportunity to move forward with plans and that anticipated growth and investment that they say they intend to make at some time, but the future date for that's been uncertain thus far. And Your worship, I agree 100% that council and the community needs to be concerned and on side with growth and investment at the resort. But commitments made 20 years ago to stand through thick and thin, well, it still will be a consideration and a concern for this and future councils. No council then or now can fetter a future council's discretion to make land use decisions and to make decisions as this community evolves and moves forward and investors and development opportunities move forward. So I just wanted to make that point. This is a free offer. As a result of this proposed covenant, RMR doesn't have to do anything.
Mr. Thomas?
Your worship, just to answer Councillor Orlando's statement that there's a conversation, this is something that is separate from RMR. This is a covenant between the city and the proponent here. The completion of the resort master plan is actually a requirement of the province. That's not something that is being made up by this resolution. So the update to the resort master plan has been a requirement since I've been here in 2012. The resort has been asked to update the resort master plan by the province. And I totally understand that, from RMR's perspective, the world has changed since 2008. And so the plans are very difficult to put together. But I think, as the CAO has mentioned, this is somewhat of an olive branch from the developer to suggest that he's willing to put the entirety or the bulk of his development on hold for these plans to be done. And if they're not done in what the developer considers to be a reasonable time frame, that covenant would be lifted. I'll just remind council, this is the developer's application. It's not council's application. So at this stage, what you're seeing is the developer's application. And I think as Mr. Strachan mentioned, as council goes through first, second readings, you can make modifications to this application as council sees fit to make it work for the community.
Mr. Strachan, do you have anything you want to add to, you did have your hand up there earlier.
No, Mike, see you, I don't know.
Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Against? Motion's carried.
Item 4, that the applicant be encouraged to continue communication and discussion with RMR and be encouraged to continue to pursue opportunities to participate in the growth of the resort.
Motion by Councillor Duke, second by Councillor Nixon. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor? Against? Motion's carried. Done? Finance.
I'll bring forward the grant committee of $1,800 to be awarded to the Revelstoke Soccer Association in the form of a credit to be used against the cost of field usage for the 2016 spring soccer season, and that such credit has no cash value.
Motion by Councilor Nixon, second by Councilor Sauls. Discussion?
Your worship, this is the Youth Soccer Association asking for a credit on the field, and it's something that will continue to keep the young people playing soccer in the community.
Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Motion's carried.
Your worship, I'll bring forward the next item 5 under finance, the garbage truck purchase, the liability under section 175 of the community charter, be authorized to finance the purchase of the 2016 Cobra garbage truck at a cost of $211,010, with no provisions for renewal.
Motion by Councilor Nixon, second by Councilor Sauls. Discussion?
So housekeeping item, your worship?
Have we already bought the garbage truck?
Yes.
And because the rules have changed, is why we're doing this?
Yeah, we
That answer your question?
Nope, just as an aside,
What are we doing?
just as an aside, if I just can make a comment, at some point in time, I'd like to hear from staff how garbage is doing, how the collection is doing, because I know we changed and we decided we were going in-house as opposed to going outside with an outside source, and I would just, at some point in time, like to know whether or not we're on track and we don't have overtime and it's working the way we anticipated or we hoped it would work.
Councilor Sauls.
Council Brothers, we are having a Public Works Committee meeting at the end of the month, and I hope that staff will have some of that information so that we can report back to you.
Thank you.
Motion's on the floor. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried.
Your worship, I'll bring forward item J, statement of financial information, that the mayor and deputy director of finance be authorized to sign the 2015 statement of financial information approval.
Motion by Councilor Nixon, second by Councilor Sauls. Any comments?
Just, this is public information as per the legislation that we have to file this.
Any other comments? All those in favor? Motion's carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to bring forward item K, that council accepts the Community Wildfire Protection Outreach Work Plan from Mountain Labyrinth Incorporated, and that the fire chief be the approving signatory on behalf of the city of Revelstoke when entering into a 3-year contract with Mountain Labyrinth Incorporated.
Motion by Councilor English, seconded by Councilor Sauls. Any discussion? Councilor Nixon.
Just to ask staff if this meets the procurement policy. This is a contract, and does this contract go out to the public? Every 3 years, does it go out to the public for bidding?
This particular contractor has been working with the Community Wildfire Protection Committee and is very aware of our plan and fuel management, and the committee felt that it should be a direct award to the individual.
Mr. Shea?
I don't recall the exact details of the purchase policy, but I think it does provide purchases under $10,000 per year to be direct award.
Okay, so 30,000 over 3 years would fall into that mandate.
Yes.
Okay, just asking.
Any other comments on the motion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. Parks and Rec.
I'm going to excuse myself due to conflict of interest related to the skateboard park question.
I'd be happy to step in for Aaron.
It's because Aaron is the secretary for the Skateboard Park Association?
That's right.
Councilor English.
Thank you, Your Worship. That staff be directed to make an application to the Canada 150 Community Infrastructure Grant Program for $300,000 for rehabilitation and expansion of the existing skateboard park.
Motion by Councilor English, second by Councilor Sauls. Councilor Brothers.
Just a question, in the report, Ms. Donato, and I'm sorry I didn't ask you this before, but it talks about The Columbia Valley Skateboard Association made an application to BCAA, Play Here funding program for $100,000. Finalists will be notified May 30th. Did we get a notification?
Your worship.
We were not, they were not chosen as finalists.
Question I have is that why didn't we apply for 500?
We have been working with Inline Skate Parks and raising the project, so we were able to reduce the project budget down to approximately $800,000. So we are no longer going for the $1 million project at this time.
Okay. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Do you want to get to our councilor back? First item is correspondence, is Columbia Shuswap Regional District letter regarding Thomas Brook, proposed water and sewer local service area. Councilor Nixon.
Your worship, I agree with this letter only to just iterate publicly to make sure the petition is legal, agreed to by the residents in the province before work commences. I want to make sure there's no loophole about not joining the city once council changes. And I appreciate the legislative unknowns for the staff and the staff time that's been going into preparing this.
I don't think there's any action required, is there?
No, your worship, just to note, CSRD is going to consider the matter on Thursday this week. We provided the recalculated annual debt servicing based on a variety of scenarios to Mayor McKee, and before that, Director Parker.
Yes, I did.
I just realized I hadn't sent it to Mr. Hamilton, and I'll do that tomorrow.
Very good.
I just want to say thank you to your worship and the staff that were involved in negotiating a possible, probable, workable solution, because I know that it's been a tough one.
There's lots more work to be done.
Yeah, there's a lot more work to be done.
But thank you.
All right. Next item of correspondence is the letter from the Region Inn regarding the cabin dining hours. Anybody want to take any action on that? Councilor Nixon?
I remember when this came to council, and I just think, it was pointed out that admin partnership for security had really sort of added to our bylaws to deal with noise and drunkenness, so that we have the tools in place to deal with this and monitor this through the summer. Right, and I think the noise will only be in July and August, and that's when the air conditioners on that side of that hotel will be just rapid away.
Might be hopeful thinking on your part, but
Yeah.
Councilor Brothers?
The only concern, again, and I recall this coming up, the only concern I have is we don't have any bylaw people at night to deal with this. And so I'm worried that this will come up as an issue again, but it is what it is, and I guess we'll deal with it if it comes up.
Well, I did not support this when it came forward, and I still don't. I think that it was a mistake. I think that people have to remember is that, especially in the downtown core, there's a lot of people that are in the downtown core to sleep. And having this right next door is no different than somebody that has a vacation rental, except that it's legal for them to be out on a patio till 1 o'clock in the morning. And again, whereas having a party in somebody's backyard till 1 o'clock in the morning in a residential area is not legal. But to a lot of people, this is a residential area, and I agree that we'll be hearing more about it and having more problems. Councilor Brothers and Councilor Nixon.
My recollection is that the old folks on the council table were more in favor of limiting the noise level, and I'm just wondering at some point in time whether or not there's an appetite to bring this back and to look at it again. I'm not too sure. Do we have any complaints from council other than this complaint? And is this actually a complaint or a concern that it will arise?
It's a concern because the patio is just getting opened up now.
And Your worship, I just feel it's more than commissioners can deal with. We put next to RCMP on for that very reason. And we just need to monitor it closely, and maybe this will clear example of, you know, your license is not what we gave you. You have to have a few little twerks to it.
Anybody else? Yes.
Just your worship, to the comment that we don't have bylaw enforcement at night, we do, and it's the folks with the yellow stripes on their pants. They write a good number of municipal tickets for us.
But in fairness, Mr. Chabot, I know they have a lot more on their plate than to go and deal with noise on a regular basis. I'm aware of that
But
because I
I
live
think if
downtown.
things are getting out of order down there, that'll become a priority too. There's 80 seats licensed. Take care of it, yeah.
Councilor English.
I'm hearing the concerns around the table. We've got a security committee meeting scheduled. I'd be happy to take these concerns there and just continue to discuss that. Not just with outdoor patio, but noise after 11 o'clock in general. I'd be happy to discuss that at our next security committee.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have correspondence from Shell Canada regarding the Udis intersection. Anybody want to take any action on that? Councilor Nixon.
I just think it's good that staff picked up the phone and talked to them today.
Under communications, anybody want anything out of the economic development minutes of March 2nd? Environmental advisory minutes of March 17th? RCMP community policing report? Check requisition report? Aquatic Center monthly reports? Business license summary? Bylaw enforcement? Tyler wrote his letter on the rezoning application. Brown vacation rental comments letter.
I thought she made some really good points that come around in the direction that we can
Whittaker vacation rental letter. Hollis vacation rental experience letter. Southern Ontario local government letter. See that we were awarded the 2018 soda convention. Good job, everybody. Yes.
Now that we have this opportunity, who in staff deals with this? I mean, do we have somebody do we have the resources to deal with this?
Admin.
And the committee has assured me that it's a lot less work than the last time that the city hosted this event. They actually have staff that do a lot of the organizing. Councilor English.
I'm just really excited about this. I'm going to book my holidays around it, so I can't wait to enjoy every single aspect of it.
Brings up to 200 people to town for 4 or 5 days, and the hotel rooms and everything else, so it's a good shot in the arm, especially during the shoulder season that's coming. I would be there. Questions from media?
Not from me, Your Worship.
Come on, you guys. New guy, no questions?
Me?